All right, so let me tell you the story. Yesterday, I could not get my axle out of my birfield. And like I said, I tried everything. So I took it to this like old little hole in the wall part store. It's not like an O'Reilly's or a whatever. It's just like a bunch of 80-year-old men sitting in a machine shop. I took it there to see if they had any devices or anything, and they all three tried super hard to get this apart, and they couldn't. And he's like, "Why do you need to get it apart?" And I was like, "I really just need to grease this thing." And he was like, "Well, we can grease it for you. We'll just pack some grease in there." I'm like, "I don't know if that's going to get in there or not." And he's like, "Yeah, we should be able to." So I let them do it against my better judgment. They were really nice, and they like took time out of their day when they absolutely did not have to. So I'm like, whatever, they want to grease it, they can grease it. And they used wheel bearing grease. And the more I thought about it, I just didn't feel good about this at all. So I took it back home and I just kept trying the pipe method where you drop it onto a pipe, and eventually it did break loose. And but you can see there is no grease down in this cavity, and they were super confident. I mean, they spent like 10 minutes like greasing and smushing and greasing and smushing, and they were confident that they got grease past these ball bearings, and I didn't think that it probably worked, and I was right. It didn't work at all. Moral to the story is, do not try packing these like this. You have to take the axle off if you're going to repack grease into this thing. Then the other thing is, don't use wheel bearing grease. You have to use molly grease, because wheel bearing grease is for speed and molly is for like the intense pressure that this thing is going to see, and it will keep metal from touching metal much better than the wheel bearing grease. So this is like the little cutie old man trying to get this apart, and it just didn't. We tried everything, it wouldn't come apart. And so now this was soaking in gasoline overnight, which really did help a lot. This is all that fresh grease that they tried putting in there. But there's still a lot in there. But I have this, I used to work at a dental lab, so I have this handy dandy little tool. It's working really good, but I got to clean all of this out of here. And it's going to be spotless by the time I'm done. So the temperature dropped like drastically when I was on my adventure to find a snap ring, which I couldn't find, but I did order what I think is the right one from Toyota, but it won't be here till next week.